to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the RationalInvestor.com's, what is this? This is our Daily Brief public show. I'm trying to remember which show we're on here. Yeah, I got a few people watching. Probably not going to be a very busy crowd here today. But nonetheless, nice to see lots of people posting on the site. Very active this morning. Welcome, of course, to all the new students to the program. Holy moly. Can't believe, and Julian's telling me we still have people trickling in. Which reminds me, I just sent a PM to a person who just joined the level 3 program. You know who you are. Please get in touch with me and make sure that we have YouTube email addresses that work for you on file. We had our first class of the level 3 program yesterday. Always a challenge when the old man's doing the class. But I think we got it off the ground okay. So anyway, wish us luck on that. And as I said a moment ago, welcome all students, level 1s, 2s, 3s. Actually, on the site, we're getting working on getting the tutorial system back up and running. And we have Josh, aka Joshy, from our Nadia. I don't know whether Nadia is still around. I think I saw her watch a video a month or so ago. Anyway, you'll be happy to know Joshy is kicking butt. And actually, I think he's a natural born salesman. So anyway, he's getting the tutorial system back up and running, and lots of people are interested. So if you are a TRI OG, especially all of our funded traders there in the day trader room, any of you harmonicans, really actually any site vets, if you are interested, reach out to me. We can add you to the tutorial system, and maybe that's a way for you to earn a little bit of income, as we do seem to have quite a bit of interest in people booking tutorials. So what are we going to talk about here today? Today is Wednesday, 24th of January, so we're through the lion's share of January. Of course, we'll be heading off on our great road trip on the 6th, and so that's a little under 2 weeks from now. We should probably have a El Salvador meetup meeting this weekend. I know you guys, especially the guys who are quarterbacking this, TBG and Adam and stuff. I think you should just plan to have the meeting this weekend. Let people come in and just sort of chat. Also, too, Chris and I, we got to get off our butts and book our plane tickets from LA down to El Salvador. So we still got to do that. And I'm sure Cotter's going to have some critical words for me about being such a lazy ass and booking so late. But anyway, so we got to do that. As well, too, though, we're going to be going to pick Chris up at the airport on the 6th and be hopefully in Portland for the 7th and do the Coinigy show from Joe's. I think he actually is going to set us up at the University of Oregon. He said it's right around the corner, and maybe use their facilities. But anyway, we're going to do the Coinigy show from Portland. Then we're probably going to be down in Northern California probably that weekend. And so if you're in the San Francisco area, if you're in the Sacramento area, look for us maybe, I don't know, 10th or something. Then we're going to make our way down to LA. And of course, like I said, we're going to fly out of LA on the 14th or 15th. So if you happen to be in LA, maybe we'll try and plan to be in LA for like the 13th, 14th kind of idea. Maybe we'll have a nice little dinner out with anybody locally in LA that happens to be in the area and would love to come out and just have a nice little dinner with us. So if you happen to be in Portland, Sacramento, San Francisco, LA area, or reach out and we'll try and hook up with you on the way down. I'm going to be flying back to LA the end of I think the 22nd or 23rd. And I'm going to drive myself back up to Vancouver. So I might just pop in again. Anybody in the LA area, we might do a dinner, latter part of the month. And then as I work my way back up north, I'll pop back in and say hello to Adam and Ed and stuff in Sacramento. And then back up to Portland and then back up to Seattle. So, by all means, if you happen to be on the West Coast of North America and you'd like to see the Beamish for better or for worse, reach out and let me know that you're interested and we'll try and pencil people in. As for markets, you can't win them all. Today, definitely clearly not seeing the market clearly today. I got stopped out, full loss on my crude oil opening range trade. Boo, hiss, boo. I am pleased to see process goals. Yesterday, I kind of fucked up a little bit. I had a really nice trade that I sort of emotionally panicked my way out of. Did make a little bit of money, but if anything, I was pleased with the process goals here today. Had to take a loss, but obeyed stops and obeyed risk levels and live by the sword, die by the sword. Then I've been just sort of playing in the stock market, and my belief here, and just look at that, Chris, fucking pivoted right off Hoag's level. Hoag, you bastard. Anyway, as you can see, this actually sets up a really nice trade for me. I've definitely got trade location, one of Hoag's fun levels. You can see the bearish momentum divergence that's confirmed here in MACD. And you can see Willie's nice and stupidly overbought. So put it all together. Also, too, you can see a really nice failure in volume here. I get the distinct impression crude oil is a short here. But let's see. I had a stock market. I actually tried shorting the stock market. I'm in the penalty box because I lost money on the opening range trade, so paper trading only. But I'm all about process goals, and I just want to make sure that I'm following the process. I hit this double top gap level Mountain Man fib earlier, got stopped out. Boo, hiss, hiss, boo. Then we had this big old railroad tracks come in here, so I worked a sell order against that level and Mountain Man level, all that kind of stuff. And you can see I'm going to get stopped out again, the bastards. Jesus. Not seeing the market clearly here today, that's for sure. So, and if anything, a good analogy that, there's no point in making a situation worse. I had a losing trade on the opening range trade today, so I just shut down all live money risk and just paper trading away. And it is what it is. What's going on sort of in the world, macroeconomics. We've sort of talked about this recently. I do believe that the US economy is fairly robust. I don't think you really should be looking for a recession out of the US. And, sadly, this is a terrible commentary, but it is so true. If you see that the public is barking one direction, i.e., like we saw with the silly Bitcoin ETF, everybody was expecting their God candle on the event. And what actually happened? It actually went the other direction. And yeah, it turned out to be a Satan candle. So, a lot of people in social media calling for the end of the world and the stock market crash and recession. So what does the damn stock market do? It goes straight up. Drive you crazy. Anyway, good lesson. Like everybody should journal that. Very good lesson. Public's thinking one way. Odds are probably the market's going to go the other. So econ wise, actual sort of what's been driving this. We had these global S&P composite PMI flash indexes. I had one come out there for Europe out of Great Britain. You can see slightly higher than expectations. So the market kind of likes that. Basically, it just says that the economy's on an uptick. You can see we also had, and I'm not sure what HCOB stands for, but I'm sure it's probably something cool. Manufacturing over there in Europe came on slightly uptick, slightly better than even expectations. Interesting how services came in slightly lower than expectations. All right. And then, and really, I think this is a function of Germany, but still, interesting to see services coming in a little bit weaker than expectations, but the general manufacturing PMI actually coming in much better than expectations. So I don't really see anything news-wise here that's sort of like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. S&P Global Composite PMI, you can see these all came in even better than, comparison-wise upticks and kind of dramatic uptick as well. And even much better than expectations. Now, how can the Fed lower interest rates in the face of that? That's not going to happen. So I would be leery about any expectation of the Fed lowering rates. And interesting to see the Bank of China here met, and especially as long as we still have the socialist slash communists in control of our federal government. And that means, by definition, they're spending money that they don't have. They're stealing money from the citizens and spending money on frivolous programs. Go watch that Argentina guy. I mean, I think when he took power, he like literally the day he took power, he instantly dissolved like 5 different bureaus that were just nonsense, didn't really contribute to economic GDP, but were all sort of those feel good kind of government bodies that make people feel better, but don't actually produce any economic output. Same sort of things happening in China. And of course, that's why so many China-Danians, I'm not even sure what we are, Canadians, are so stressed out and paid so much attention to that guy down in Argentina that potentially is our future. And I sure hope Canada got a very rude awakening from his speech there the other day and at the silly Klaus clubhouse there in Europe. Also, too interesting, and this is sort of an aside, not really economics and not really market, but score one for the working class and Joe Sixpack. A court ruled that toilet water's imposition of the Emergency Measures Act with regard to the truckers and then the confiscations, basically theft of people's bank accounts, was an egregious breach of Canadian constitutional law. And all the Canadian commentators were all, going crazy on YouTube over this ruling. And of course, that little Freeland woman that has somehow become such an important figure in Canadian government, although 5 years ago she was like nobody. She's like, well, we're going to appeal, and it's like, well, sorry. They made a pretty good case that you basically broke the law. So anyway, score one for the Canadian citizens. That was nice to see yesterday. Anyway, Canada rhetoric, blah, blah, blah. So point of the matter here is economic data seems to be coming in relatively robust. What a big surprise. Stock markets are booming to new highs. And of course, there's Brian trying to short the top. It's never really the best strategy, although I do see my shorts back in the money here. So fingers crossed for the old man. Hopefully he can turn a profit on one of these damn trades he does here today. But like the scuttlebutt is that, NASDAQ made new highs. The S&P made new highs. And, of course, the old adage, show me a new high and I'll show you a buy. I get the distinct impression this market is very strong. I certainly wasn't expecting that, looking at our January barometer, kind of thinking, I was thinking pivot mid-month. Ain't no signs of a pivot here just yet. And, we also talked about how a huge option was, this 480 level. And of course, all the calls down here were all exercised. Basically the public bought a lot of stock here. So frankly speaking, I'm actually pretty surprised to see the stock market as strong as it is. We had our stock pickers club meeting last night, and David had begrudgingly acquiesced the simple fact, and I think he was watching the Nasdaq a little closer for that megaphone, and the Nasdaq went and blew out the top here yesterday. So he was like, oh, "I'm sorry, I just don't see the megaphone failing here." So we had trade location, just nothing ever really developed following that, and of course, huge gap higher. We could very easily make some sort of head and shoulders top here, but that's a huge, dangerous assumption right now. I wouldn't assume a failure here just yet. Having said that, we all know massive gap, massive gap, massive gap, hell, massive gap. At some point, the market, and even today's price action now, massive gap. Some point, the market is going to come back and fill all this stuff in, but it ain't today. And it might take a few days for this thing to actually top out here. So I don't know whether it's actually in your best interest to be too aggressive on the sell side and calling tops and all that kind of stuff. If anything, I have to get some sort of signal here that this thing has actually failed. As I said, I'm just messing around here on the lower time frame charts, having fun picking tops here. But this is a paper trade, and I would be leery about actually risking real money on this trade right now. I think it's just too early. If anything, ironically enough, because we just banged into a Hogue level, and it probably the market's reversing off it now. Yeah, that was probably actually a pretty good looking trade. Confirmed bear div. Willie stupid. We had a trade location. So if I get any kind of M in here, I might actually fire up the live account and actually consider strapping that on. And I think I've told you guys before, Johnny Hoagland's like a 30, 40-year market veteran. And he has some just absolutely incredible levels. And I've often said, like, for their little combine account, they charge you like $50 a month or something to be a part of it. My account's up $1,000, so I'm certainly not losing any money with them. Not making a ton of money, but I'd actually consider for $50 a month that this, just getting Hogue's levels is probably worth that subscription alone, because it's incredible to watch how often the market pivots off his levels. So once again, there you go. What a surprise. So put it all together, the Econs relatively positive. The general news, I mean, I didn't hear anything overly shocking. It is interesting how in the lounge, the biggest story that I saw people talking about recently was a guy in the UK was told by some Chinese handler guy in the UK that he wasn't allowed to film Chinese people that were waving CCP flags and all that kind of crap. And he's like, fuck you. This is the UK. Get out of my face. And it's turned into some big brouhaha. Be interesting to see how that ages. So, but on balance, it is interesting to see that the bond market is coming off here. We've been talking a little bit recently about how maybe interest rates need to pivot. Those PMI numbers were fairly robust. Certainly don't see any signs of economic contraction. So if interest rates do just keep rising here in the face of these strong econs, of course, like I said, no way central banks can cut rates. In fact, I actually get the impression that maybe, we had the Bank of Canada here actually have an interest rate decision today, and they've said, nope, we're not changing rates at all here. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same message out of the Americans shortly. So put it all together. I mean, what do we have here on the US dollar? This is probably what we want to watch as sort of our risk on, risk off proxy. And I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a megaphone that's developing. Boom to boom. Did we just have the third tag? 1, 2, 3 here. I think actually, if that's the case, then we probably need to go there. And does that portend into the FOMC that maybe we have some sort of rally back up top here? You can see that they were selling the market off pretty hard here. We do have a pretty big tail into sort of Wyckoff check levels. So let's keep an eye on that. And if these stock markets do actually roll over here because the Fed, they're not anticipating the Fed cutting rates, Maybe you'll see the US dollar. This is technically an inside bar, so you might actually see that start to move up in earnest, but there's really nothing there for me to do. Finish off, yeah, finish off this free broadcast. Quick boo at the corn. We had talked recently about, and this is why I do like to use the 13 EMA. You can clearly see, I remember on the weekend, I said that my expectation was that we would stab into that level. And then maybe let's see if we have some sort of dead cat bounce kind of idea. So we did exactly that. We are bouncing here, but the problem is when you look at the lower time frame charts, it's not really anything to write home about. If we look at the daily, you can see that we do have basically a momentum shift here. Moving averages have rolled to the downside. We are making lower highs and lower lows. We did bang into a trend line support line that also corresponds with that 13 EMA. So it does kind of make sense. We got a little bit of a support here. I'd have to see bottoms or W's actually start to form here over the next little while for me to actually turn back bullish. Right now, all I see is just, lower highs and lower lows. Willie, not quite stupid here yet, so we don't have any indication there. We do actually have a confirmed bearish momentum divergence that's working. So there's lots of reasons for us to just continue, just cool your jets. We're not in a big hurry. If anything, you can see previously I wrote like flash crash support. We just draw fibs off of the highs back down to the recent lows. There's good old Colin and the pump chaser zone. So it shouldn't surprise us that we see support in here. It's probably a little too early for us to actually think, all right, we're getting ready for a ramp back up. Didn't really set up very well, but I did say in the video yesterday that I would draw up the bot levels. You can see short entry, I guess, would have been off of that M top. Although this isn't a textbook bot setup for me, and I don't even think I would be interested in this. But nonetheless, had you taken that short, maybe a trend line fail, market structure fail, there's your short bot level. Interesting, nice M top off of that level. Move stop to scratch hit, so you shouldn't lose any money on this thing. If this thing does ratchet back up to that 25 level, probably it means that we're carving out some sort of inverted head and shoulders here. And, the bears probably should cool their jets. Do we actually see bullish momentum divergence coming in on this move? You can see it trying to form. It hasn't quite coalesced just yet. So I still think that's a bit early. And you can see the buying interest. We got maybe a potential double top there on the bears. So if the bears start to do really, really low print candles here, kind of like this one, you might actually have a volume impetus signal that the bears have fallen asleep, but just not quite enough evidence here to actually call a bottom. And then if we look at the lower time frames, what I think's happening here is we have a bit of an inverted head and shoulders off of this little pattern, which actually suggests that we're probably going to get a half decent rally back up to test these highs. And as I said, if that happens, then maybe what we're getting is a big head and shoulders that does something like that. And that might be the process of us actually turning back to, hey, maybe we got a bull here. And really our rule, of course, is, markets trend lines. We want to see a W on the other side of this trend line to get bullish. We have a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here. And if you drill down to the 30-minute, this is where sort of like day traders, I suppose, would be interested. There is that inverted head and shoulders trying to work its way higher. But at the same time, you can see we actually have bearish momentum divergence on that push higher. So more anecdotal evidence that, I don't think that there's a huge hurry here. So, I think the Bitcoin, it's still trying to clean up the correction. I don't think that the correction is fully done yet here. Probably a lot of back and forth still to be done. And then finally, just taking a quick look at our total, to get an idea of what the altcoin market's kind of thinking right now. Lots of trade location, reasons for us to be thinking top up top here. Didn't really actually have that bad of a momentum failure here. I get the impression this is still probably just purely the ETF stuff. I don't know whether I really would say this is some sort of long-term cyclical peak. I will say though, we have small RSI divs, small Willie divs. Willie did technically get stupid there. So, according to our rules, you're not allowed to buy if Willie's stupid like that. So you can see slowly rolling over. Do have an empire here. We do have a sell signal off of the fail of that level right there. That's 1.541 trillion. Excuse me. Uh-oh, bad luck again. Anyway, so kind of like the Bitcoin, stab down into 13 EMAs. 13 EMAs have acted as support. Still a huge window here between 13 EMA and 30 SMA. We are bouncing off the lows. Don't really have any M's here. Huge wick. We could very easily come back up and explore. And so what I would just simply say to the crypto audience is, there's the top end of your trading range, and there's the bottom end of your trading range. And right now we are stuck in a trading range. And until we actually get either a W or an M, I think you're probably just stuck in this range, and we just go slow. Don't need to be in a big hurry. All right, I think we'll leave the free broadcast at that. Sure hope you got some value out of that. Maybe a little bit long-winded, but I did give you a little bit of an update there on our West Coast adventure trip here, which took about 5-10 minutes. So on balance, a good 15-20 minute presentation. All right, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Slow and steady wins the race. We'll head on over, and in the after party, of course, if you are interested in joining the after party, it's really simple. You can, rationalinvestor.com. That's not rocket science. And all you got to do is just click the free trial. You can come over and listen to the after party, and, maybe we convince you that the after party content, Sjord's presentation yesterday, he basically walked everybody through how to start getting going on all these airdrops and wallets and stuff. And I'm super excited for this. I think this is going to be a great adventure here. Although, fully understood, Big Brother and, Elizabeth Warren and, of course, Joey Diamond there would have, I hate that guy. Anyway, they're going to make our lives very, very difficult. But point here is TRI, these after party shows, I think they're awesome. And I think they're definitely worth the $20 a month for our basic site subscription. So come on over, give the free trial a go. It's a month. You can sit and just watch all this stuff on your own, and you can make the decision whether joining us at TRIs is worth the while. Other than that, is there anything else that I missed, Chris? I think I got everything. All right. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Like I said, today, Wednesday, is Stock Pickers Day. So we're going to go through, look at some stocks that we talked about in the Stock Pickers Club last night. And maybe we'll even pull up the engine and see what the engine is suggesting might be half decent buys from the stock market perspective. All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.